So I've been doing a lot of work on the ingredient side recently, like trying to
Yeah,
find partnerships with like cosmetic chemistry startups and things like that so
cool.
that we have just this incredible database. And
Mm,
recently on a call with another founder, she was telling me she is in the formulation procurement
mm,
business. And she was
yeah,
telling me that people really haven't innovated skincare since like 2015. For the most part, brands are just kind of going around trend cycling different
mm,
focuses and not really doing anything groundbreaking or different. So a lot of times the products are pretty much the same thing. But that shouldn't be the case. You know what I mean?
right.
And so it was wild to me to like be somebody who always assumed that that was the case and that they were all just copying each other, playing
Yeah.
round robin, and to have that be affirmed, and not just by her, but like multiple people that are in that
Mm,
side of it. I'm just like, why wouldn't you try to develop something new and cool that
right?
nobody's tried before? Like, come on,
Yeah.
we're innovating everywhere else. Why not in skincare?
Welcome to Becoming Radical, the podcast for creators, builders, and dreamers just like you. What does it mean to become radical in a world of constant change? Hosted by Michael Gaizutis, each week we'll explore the real-time journeys of those rewriting the rules. From untold failures to groundbreaking success. If you're ready to break the boundaries of limited thinking, this is your guide to unlimited growth.
Welcome to Becoming Radical. I am joined here today with Sarah Rinehart, who is the CEO and co-founder of Beauty Genome. Sarah, it's so great to have you here today. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Your background is really cool. I know we've been talking about it. We both have a lot of familiarity with Kansas City, which is where I lived for many, many years, and Chicago, San Diego, all over the place, right?
All over the map.
Yeah. But what's also really cool is that, your background outside of geography is it's pretty immersive and extensive. I know you've been in the beauty space for a while, but also understanding the crossover, the technology, which is really interesting. So I'm excited to hear more about how you're living right now at the intersection of beauty, health, technology, really building a future where products are transparent, inclusive, and evidence-based for skincare, not just for women, but also for men, basically for
Yeah.
all. So it's really cool. I guess the first question for you is, what really inspired you, going back to the beginning, to launch Beauty Genome, and what problem were you really most passionate about solving?
For me, like I have spent years and years, like almost 2 decades behind the chair. I've been in every aspect of beauty from business to business, like tools and
Yep.
brands. I've been sponsored by MAC Cosmetics. I was a
Oh, wow. Cool.
editorial artist for them for many years, and I owned my own salon for a while. So I have
Nice.
done literally everything. And even into my most recent thing was medical aesthetics. So that was the last thing I kind of added to my repertoire,
Cool.
um, if you will. So all those things, I kept realizing like people are really struggling to figure out what the heck to use.
Yeah.
And even working for brands like I've worked for Sephora, I've worked for Ulta, like I've seen all the brands, I've seen all the ingredients. Like if anybody should know what to use on their skin, it's me. And I
Yeah.
can't even do it. So
Yeah.
I can only imagine how insane it must be for your average person to do
Yeah.
that. And especially people like men and
Yeah.
like, people that you guys don't want to go into Sephora or Ulta and ask
Yeah.
questions, like
Yeah.
that's super daunting.
Yeah.
And
Right.
even if you did, they would probably do their best, but they're
Yeah.
selling you what they're trained to sell you, not what necessarily is actually the best for you. So
Exactly.
hopefully Beauty Genome will be the thing
Hmm.
that bridges the gap. And we aim to be product agnostic.
Yeah.
So, you
Cool.
know, really empowering brands to create products that actually move the needle for consumers and for
Yeah.
consumers to find those products that work best for them.
Yeah.
People spend like $82 billion every single year on product that they end
Wow.
up crashing or just never using.
Wow.
And so I'm just like, that's got to stop. In this economy, no.
Yeah, totally. Oh, 100%. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Coming from a biotech background and understanding everything you've done so far, in beauty and other industries, what surprised you the most when you enter the beauty industry, or maybe a better question is, what's surprising you the most about the beauty industry today that, you're like, how is this possible that this is the way it is today and not this way?
So I've been doing a lot of work on the ingredient side recently, like trying to
Yeah.
find partnerships with like cosmetic chemistry startups and things like that
Cool.
so that we have just this incredible database. And
Mm.
recently, on a call with another founder, she was telling me she is in the formulation procurement
Mm.
business. And she was
Yeah.
telling me that people really haven't innovated skincare since like 2015.
Wow.
And for the most part, brands are just kind of going around trend cycling different,
Mm.
focuses and not really doing anything groundbreaking or different. So, I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of times the products are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be the case, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so it
Yeah.
was wild to me to like be somebody who always assumed that that was the case and that they were all just kind of copying each other, playing
Yeah.
round robin, and to have that be affirmed and not just by her, but like multiple people that are in that
Mhm.
side of it. I'm just like, why wouldn't you try to develop something new and cool that
Right?
nobody's tried before? Like, come on,
Yeah.
we're innovating everywhere else. Why not in skincare?
It makes no sense. You often have the giants that are the larger cosmetic brands, skincare brands,
Yeah, the
science
L'Oreal, the
brands. It sounds
LVMH.
sounds like there's a lot of like scientific brands now in market that are, leading with, okay, stem cell technologies and all sorts of things.
Yeah,
But what's fascinating is that you're right. It's not being radicalized in the sense where it's changing, and it needs to change because people are struggling, as you said. And what I find really cool is how you guys are now using genomics and AI to make personalized recommendations. Can you break down how that actually works for regular people, for the average consumer?
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's part AI magic, part Cosmo Skin Quiz. We obviously, our engine thrives the more information you give it, the more exact of a recommendation you're going to get.
Yep.
So we do some like initial intake questions, the normal stuff, skin type, skin tone. What
Yep.
are your main concerns? Things like that. So kind of your run of the mill, like just getting to know you questions. We also pair that with some like personality getting to know you questions.
Sure.
So we're really trying to like capture like each user individually, skin wise and personality wise. And that
Right.
all feeds into basically a super brain that
Hmm.
has countless logic
Cool.
kind of rules and product databases, ingredient databases, computer vision images that have been
Wow.
tagged and kind of this, that, and the other. So we've got
Cool.
this kind of supercomputer that plugs into what the users give us. And then we
Awesome.
are able to super customize their skincare.
I love it.
Yeah. And then
Very, very
eventually
cool.
we'll be able to give them the cheapest price for whatever that thing
Hmm.
is. They can track it. And so they save a little bit of money that way too. But
That's good. That's really good. And I think having, as you said, use your words, an agnostic vehicle that uses technology, but actually helps people to understand, okay, where they are today. But a good example might be somebody is dealing with regular complexion issues. Then all of a sudden they experience, breakout eczema, so things
yeah,
are going to change, right? And
yeah,
obviously we're learning, and there's a lot of research around the gut, the GI system in skin,
yeah,
microbiome, but there's also a skin biome from what I understand too.
yeah.
So everything has its own biome and oral biome. So it's all one system with multiple biomes. It's really
Yeah.
fascinating stuff. Uh,
Well, and, like, so many things you wouldn't necessarily think about contribute to the way your skin acts, you
yeah.
know? So, like, we're gonna hopefully be integrating Apple Watches and Aura
Oh,
rings
cool.
and things like
Nice.
that as well, so we can get that, like, sleep data and stress data
Yeah.
and,
Oh, phew.
we'll be easily be able to, link, like, environmental data like UV and,
Mm,
air quality, humidity, things like that. That's super easy.
nice.
That exists in the world, so,
Yeah, that's
um
amazing. That's very,
It'll
very
be
cool.
yeah, it'll be really, really unique to each user. I mean, somebody in Colorado isn't gonna get the same thing in Miami, so
Right. Oh, that's so true. Yeah. I mean, your skin's going to look and feel and act differently depending on your environment. If it's dry, it's humid, if it's cold, if it's hot, it really makes a huge difference, I'm sure.
yeah,
This is an industry filled with a lot of marketing fluff and jargon. There's a lot of that, right? We
yeah,
know this. We see it all the time. How do you ensure trust, transparency, and science-backed results in a sea of the same with a lot of marketing stuff happening?
So we're really just trying to be as like real talk as possible. I feel like a lot of the skincare marketing is moving towards this like scientific big words like
Mm,
people don't know what exosomes are, you know.
yeah,
But we're just trying to be very like approachable, very
yeah.
transparent, even like certain words, like we're not going to be using like clinical grade results because we don't have a clinic yet. I mean, I would love to have labs in the future, but
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
it's a lot of those like all natural, there are these buzzwords that get
Yeah.
thrown around and they don't have any actual meaning or
Mm.
any real anything behind them. So we're going to be combating that organically by not using any of it and just being as honest as possible, and simultaneously maybe throwing a little shade at those words in our
I
marketing.
like that. And you know what's really cool? There's so much potential. Like my mind goes to partnerships. It's what I do really
Oh,
well. I,
absolutely.
I think partnerships, like there's Function Health run by Dr. Mark Hyman, right? Who's doing lab testing. How could you
Yeah,
integrate with that, on
absolutely.
a tertiary level? Could be really cool because they're learning a lot more about you in real time, kind of appealing to critical mass more so than, let's say, like a boutique private clinic, but it's a larger scale
Yeah.
opportunity. But yeah, really cool stuff.
Well, and one thing that I think is really it wasn't my initial anything, but
Yeah.
one day I was thinking, okay, we're going to be having people like upload selfies pretty
Mm.
regularly. Maybe this could even be an early detection tool for skin cancer and things like that.
Oh,
Like,
that's good.
if you have some like weird freckles, you probably don't
Yeah.
notice them changing and doing weird stuff
Right.
just looking at
Oh,
your face because it's such a long-term change.
it's
But
really
I feel like
interesting.
I'm hoping to be able to kind of integrate some of that in there too. And obviously we're going to
Cool.
be very transparent, like this is not medical advice, but
Right.
hey,
Right.
Rusty, you might want to get that spot checked out just to be
Yeah.
extra safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
a couple dermatologists in your area that you might
Ah,
like,
good
so
idea.
hopefully,
Yeah. Well, and the dermatology play actually makes a lot of sense because if you think your skin and obviously um, your health and skin, there could be some really cool synergies there where you could integrate locally, nationally to think about how this interplays. That's a really cool idea. How do you think you balance the complexity of genetic data with the need to keep the consumer experience simple and accessible? So if you're tying into that, tracking into that in any way, it sounds like, obviously being really transparent, keeping things simple, and, not overloading the experience is a big part of it.
yeah, for me, like I want to give people the opportunity to share as much or as little as they feel comfortable with.
Yep.
So, like, I feel like that is the big hurdle with asking people for all of this data on them. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got people like I'm like, whatever, they already have my data. What are they going to do with it? Recommend better products on TikTok Shop? Woohoo.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, I
That-
know that I am probably the weirdo in that respect. So I want to make sure that people feel like what they are sharing with us is
yeah.
safe and secure and all that fun stuff. But they're
Cool.
not forced to share anything they're not comfortable with.
That's good. I like that. Where do you see the biggest gaps in the current beauty landscape? And how do you think personalization is changing consumer expectations?
Honestly, there are probably so many gaps, like, just in products that need to exist. That I think is one of them, and hopefully we'll be able to kind of, in the long term, figure out what those products are and help either other
Mhm.
brands create them or create them ourselves. Another thing is it's very they're very much focused on just getting an initial purchase, right?
Yeah.
Like, just, you know, barrage of
Mm.
marketing, get as many like one-time purchases as you can. But for me, I feel like if your consumers trust you, how
Mm.
much more are they going to be willing to spend with your brand? How much better are you going to have a relationship with them? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right.
how much more value is there in that relationship than just the, hey, this is really attractively packaged moisturizer on
Yeah.
TikTok shop. You should buy it.
Yeah.
You
Buy
know?
now.
Yeah, and I feel like there's this breaking point, honestly, that's
Mm.
coming with kind of the way that beauty products are marketed. It's like, if you look at the comments of a lot of them, like, I remember one, it was like a plumping gloss, and
Mm.
the creator that was, repping this plumping gloss
Mhm.
obviously had like 3 syringes of lip filler.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it was it was very deceptive, and, like, the
Yeah.
comments were calling it out all day,
Oh,
and so I
no.
was just like, I feel like there's this storm a brewing
Yeah.
in the influencer marketing space where people are, like, really tired of being influenced, like, they just wanna see
Mhm.
content that they resonate with and not be
Mhm.
sold to left and right,
100%. Yeah.
and so hopefully we can kind of, help people find maybe creators that actually have similar skin to them. And so,
Yeah.
like, hey, do their beauty routine with them kind of thing. But like,
Yeah.
really providing like just smoothing the process from, hey, I need skincare to, hey, I found the skincare I need.
Yeah.
Take out
Yeah.
all the friction between those 2 points.
So it's a really good point for sure. What role do you think ethical AI and data privacy will play in the future of beauty technology? We think about AI and what it's doing. It's anyone's guess as to where things are going next, right? Because it's changing rapidly by the milliseconds, right?
Yeah.
And we talk about like AI and creators. I see this all over now. AI influencers is like Gary Vee talks about the next big thing are AI influencers, right? And I see this a lot
Hmm.
from other people, and that probably has a big trickle effect into beauty. But what do you think? The role ethical AI plays in that whole process in the space that you're in.
In beauty specifically, I mean, I think it's huge. I feel like with our app and other similar apps that,
Yeah,
do this kind of a thing, you're getting so much data from people that,
yeah,
like, being able to make it secure is, like,
mm,
stupid important, and
yeah,
that is one thing, like, my engineering team has been focused on before even, like, launching something is making sure whatever we're building, whatever
yeah.
information people give us about
Secure.
themselves is super, super secure. I
Yep.
mean, hackers probably aren't going for, like, what kind of moisturizer is popular, but you never know,
Yeah, you
But,
don't know. Yeah,
so for
yeah.
me, it's like we are treating it like HIPAA,
Mhm. Yeah,
basically.
that's
Um,
good.
like, that's how seriously we are taking it. And
Amazing.
I think future-wise, I've been seeing a lot about tokenization and blockchain and
Mm,
things like that, and I think it would be really cool to be able to tokenize these users' data, be able to share that data in ethical ways for, skin research or whatever the case may
cool.
be,
Yeah, yeah,
but give them the opportunity they own their data,
that's
they
cool.
personally own it, and then, they can basically license it to,
Mhm.
various whoever, and it's easier too for them to communicate that information with dermatologists or
Yeah,
estheticians or whoever may need to know about their skincare for,
right.
improvement, so
Absolutely. No, it's these are such great points, and I think the security consumer data is huge. And as you get into other sectors and industries, as you think about dermatologists, they're obviously HIPAA compliant. So,
yeah.
as you're thinking about those things, that plays a huge role. So I like that a lot. Has there been a hard lesson that you've learned as a CEO scaling a startup in this space that you think is worth sharing? What have you come across? Has it been difficulties in getting to market, hiring, building out team members, thinking about scalability, platform design and architecture? Anything that comes to mind that you think has been like a challenge that you've experienced as a CEO in this space?
I feel like for me, our biggest challenge is we are far enough along to where,
Hmm.
like, we're so close to launching an actual product, but we also need money to, like, do that in an efficient way, and of course,
Yeah.
like, getting to market quickly, especially in beauty, is, like, such a huge deal,
Yeah.
um, and so I feel like I almost shot myself in the foot by, like, accomplishing so much on my own before I even brought other team members in,
Oh,
that
yeah.
now they're like, "So, where's the product?" Like,
Yeah.
"Who tested it?" And I'm like, we're working on that," you
Yeah.
know? I
Totally.
mean, for
Yeah.
me, it's like, even in the beauty space, it's so crowded, like, it takes some money to, like,
Hmm.
get people to see your stuff on TikTok, to even be interested in
Of
trying the
course.
beta or, so we're
It
kind
does.
of in that rock and hard place kind of a thing, and
I understand.
unfortunately, the female founder VC struggle is, I can confirm it is real. Just even
Yeah.
to get something like in a response to an email or, I've
Hmm.
been really trying to hit the network hard so I can get some
Yeah.
people who actually know me and think my thing is cool to recommend me to a VC who might actually think my thing is cool.
Yeah.
But that obviously takes time. But honestly, that's been, I thought it was going to be so easy because I'm like, oh yeah, I've created this great product, and like,
Hmm.
I have deep industry expertise, and like, I vibe coded it like 80% of the way. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
haha, I was
yeah.
like, what's raising capital? Psh, wrong. So that's been my biggest like wake up call.
It is hard to raise capital. You are absolutely right. And it's really interesting because I think so many people get shut down. Tough. It's tough nowadays, I think, to get. It was tough years ago. I mean, I tried to raise years ago, early on in building a consumer tech startup. We had a team of 12 people. We were very much bootstrapped. We had a CFO, a head of legal, a head of partnerships. We had developers, designers, you name it, we had it, right? Team of 12.
Yeah.
And we tried to raise two. And this is back in the day. This is 2008, nine, right around there. So this is many years ago. We were trying to compete with Quora, but in a different way. Quora, the big question
Yeah.
and answer site. And I remember us going into several meetings, and we went into one. And, even though we had a really solid product foundation, a roadmap, we had some of the best talent I've ever worked with, it was still very, very difficult. And now I think that difficulty it's even harder because there's so much saturation, there's so much opportunity. Now, with that said, you could break those barriers. Now, I think the key is reaching the right people that really
Yeah.
connect with you and telling your story, right? And maybe finding a group that, could really act as an advocate for what you're building. Maybe somebody who suffers with skincare themselves, skincare issues.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody whose kids have eczema. Maybe, like Mark Cuban as an example. So I think
Mark,
it's
if you're listening.
yeah, exactly. And then there's also something to be said about building on your own. There's a lot you can do early to get that traction. And then once
Yeah.
you get some traction, then you can turn their heads a little bit and say, but by the way, we got this traction. And look how many users
Yeah.
we have already. Imagine how many we could have with 10 million as a raise or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Well, and we just brought on a chief marketing officer. He
Great.
is a ex Hallmark, ex
Cool.
T-Mobile alum.
Amazing.
Um,
Yeah.
these idiots laid him off, and he's incredibly talented. He has
Yeah.
produced so many incredible campaigns,
Amazing. Very
and
cool.
like I'm excited to bring him on to kind of build our brand world. That's
Cool.
that's kind of where I geek out, is like the
Yeah.
branding and
Oh,
looking at
yeah.
that side of things.
Yeah.
And like, so I feel like getting it to be very experiential,
Yeah.
like especially in the beauty space, especially when it's a very personal, like intimate kind of conversation you're having with your
Yeah.
users, you know,
Absolutely.
to really build the expectation of like how much we do truly care about their well-being, and we're not just
Yeah.
another corporate beauty overlord that wants
Yes.
their data for,
Yeah.
who knows what evil,
Yeah.
so
No, it's good. You have a pulse and you're on pulse with what they're wanting and craving and desiring. And on the other side of my life, for the last 15 years, I've run a global branding and digital agency. So I'm
oh,
very
so
much
you
with
geek
you.
out on it too. I
I
love
love
it.
it. Yeah, I love it. And it's so important, telling a great story and then showing up and living up to that story. That's
Yeah.
what really matters. That's what people care about. As we get into AI and rapidity of technology, the human component is so big.
Well, and
It's
that
so
genuine connection, like with
yes.
humans. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. And technology is great. It can be our best friend and our ally. And we just want to integrate it in the right way. But you're
yeah,
totally on point. I think the brand aspect is so foundational and so imperative to get connecting with people as it relates to their own body, especially. Yeah, totally. What do you think are some of the key challenges, you know, bridging the language of, technology, biotechnology, skincare, and like we talked about, the emotion and storytelling of the beauty space and what you're building? What are some of those barriers that you see to kind of balance those things out?
I feel like it's just so the amount of information and marketing and stuff
Mm,
that is thrown in people's faces. I feel like we do have our work cut out for us as far as cutting through the noise of all of that.
yeah, exactly.
Um, like, I think that's probably my biggest thing that
Yeah.
I foresee, is just getting people to be like, "Oh, what is that?" And I mean,
Mhm.
everybody, I don't know, maybe it's just my algorithm, but I feel like my entire feed is app founders, and I'm like, "Oh god." Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also like a founder, so of course, like I interact with a lot
Yeah.
of them, and we've built this really cool kind of community. But I have to wonder if people aren't just getting bombarded by ads for who knows what apps are out there.
Yeah.
So that's really
Totally.
my main concern. But
Yeah.
I think where we really differ and how
Mhm.
our positioning will differ is like we want them to feel like the expert. Like,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
want them to feel like they can feel confident, like Ron Swanson and Lowe's saying, "I know more than you," when they go into Ulta or Sephora or whatever, and they
Yeah.
have that confidence that they know what their skin needs and they can do the things to get
Yeah.
where they wanna go, you know?
Yeah, they're empowered
Um,
to do it. They feel like
yeah,
they're taking control of
yeah,
their skin, their beauty, their health, their wellness, and you guys are a catalyst, a bridge to empowering them to doing that. It's very
yeah,
cool.
well, and I mean, if you don't have to worry about what you look like, that just unleashes a whole other,
Mm.
like, amount of life you can live.
That's all true. That's a very fair point, and it's different for everybody. That's what's cool, and it's always changing, you know? So,
Yeah,
like we talked about, you might be somewhere today, and then tomorrow you have eczema or rosacea or
yeah,
contact dermatitis or whatever it is. It's always changing, right? So, it's very cool. How do
yeah.
you see if you were to future cast, we're 5 years out, 10 years, 15 years, who knows? How do you think the space of beauty and wellness will evolve and change over the next, let's say, even 5 years?
I think people are going to really gravitate towards brands that are really transparent and
Yeah.
really aligned with whatever the individual consumer's ethics are. I think
Yeah.
that, like, look at Target, you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, I feel like there is gonna be such an influx of
Mhm.
buying with your heart as
Yes.
opposed to, "Oh, this product or that product." Like, they wanna support companies that give a shit and that
Yeah, yeah,
take care of their people and, like, you have ethical business practices and don't use scary ingredients, and I think
yeah,
people are just gonna get more and more informed. Hopefully, we
yeah.
can be a part of that,
That'd be
but
amazing. Yeah.
I think when consumers are weaponized with that information, like, brands are
Mhm.
gonna have to kind of step up to the
Step
plate,
up.
you
Yep.
know? Like, we've been asked quite a few times about, like, "Well, how are you gonna stay brand agnostic?" And, like,
Yeah.
for me, if I am gonna promote a brand one over another, it's gonna be, like, a women-owned brand or a small brand that we're trying
Cool.
to help, grow their platform or something of that, like,
Yeah,
"Hey, check out these featured brands," kind of a thing.
yeah.
But
Very
as
cool.
far as, like, matching people with the stuff that's the best for them, like, if you make the best product, it's gonna
Mhm.
get recommended,
Exactly.
you
Yeah, that's
know?
right, yeah.
So,
Just create great value and show up and give your market, your consumer what they need and what they require, and
yeah.
that's a, huge leap in the right direction. What do you think is next as you build Beauty Genome? What do you think is coming, and what bold bets are you making on the future of personalized care?
I mean, I really think people are gonna want to have just one place where they go for
Yep.
the thing. I really think, there's an opportunity for in-person treatment
Mm,
down the line, you know,
interesting.
especially, like, my background is obviously in-person stuff, so,
Yeah.
whether that be connecting with
Mm,
service providers and creating some sort of a matchmaking platform for people to
mm,
find providers near them that not only give what they need, but also they might
yeah.
listen to the same kind of music or,
Yeah.
vibe with, you
Yeah.
know? So, some sort of ecosystem, if you
Mm,
will, is
yeah.
where I think beauty is kind of headed, to be honest, because it's
Yeah.
all interconnected anyways, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. I could see, again, partnership play. I could see a
Yeah,
huge partnership play with a physical retailer, or even salons that could
yeah,
dial into this technology on site for their, like Sola Salon, for instance, as an example. They're everywhere. That's just one example. You probably know
yeah.
so many better
Well,
examples than
you
me,
know,
but
to be honest,
yeah.
before I really pivoted to Beauty Genome, I was building a very tech-enabled, um, in-person concept. So
Cool.
for me, I'm
Cool.
like, wow, with
Partner.
Beauty Genome, we'll have a heat map of,
Mm,
you know, where we have a ton of users and where we would already have, like, an
mm,
existing client base. So I
yeah.
think it would be really cool to be able to pair, like, that level of skincare
Mm,
knowledge, not only give it to, like, their estheticians and stuff, but
yeah.
have, Beauty Genome mini labs where they can go and
Mm.
get lasers treatments or their Botox or whatever
That's
and
cool, yeah.
be able to there's a machine called Vizia that is basically
Mhm.
an phone skin scan on steroids, and it does like literal medical grade imaging on your skin. It can show you like sun damage you can't see and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
I can
Um,
almost foresee like, you know, in a larger, well-trafficked area, as a starting point, this would allow complete accessibility at scale. You could even have these like pod units, if you will, that maybe represent this idea of something that associates with skincare. And it's a totally immersive experience. And when you go in, it almost becomes an extension to the app, but in a physical form, right?
yeah,
And you could even
yeah,
have like live consultations in this booth in this pod. I mean, it could be really cool. And
yeah.
what's neat is it can be moved and maneuvered, and there's a lot of really cool things you could do with that.
Yeah, we have this really crazy idea that we
Yeah.
wanna be the jersey sponsor for the Kansas City Current, and their
Okay.
coach is
Cool.
actually the coach of the US women's national
Oh,
team,
wow. Okay.
and so hopefully we'll be able to get in with them and,
We
once
need.
they're whoever their jersey sponsor is now. But I think it would be
Yeah.
cool to have pods like that we
Mm.
can, activate in various places,
Yes.
airports,
Airports. Oh, that's a
Coachella,
good one. I like that. Oh, yeah.
wherever, so people can, you can do, like, a high res.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a scan, and then from their recommendation set, and then maybe you
Yep.
can literally go to an Amazon locker and have your products there or whatever it is. I mean, you could create a whole partnership synergy there. This is what gets
Yeah.
me excited, thinking about the possibilities for where you.
Yeah, no, and my you if I showed you my Miro mind map, you would be
I'm sure
like,
it's
"Oh,
insane.
she's truly insane," because I'm like, "Oh, we could do this, and we could do
Yep.
this, and da, da, da,
It's
da, da."
good.
So,
It's good. And the thing is, you're doing it. I mean, this is what you do. I mean, you have to have intentionality, and you have to manifest what you want, and then you have to figure out, okay, what does it take to get there? How do I do
exactly.
this, and this? And it's not easy, as we both know. It's so hard, It's
But it's
you're gonna
so
have.
worth it in the
It's so
end,
worth it.
like,
It's so worth
every
it.
time I watch the Martha Stewart documentary, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hell yeah." Like,
Yeah, yeah. And you'll get there because you're building, and there's nothing will stop you from building something amazing. I think the thing that stops us often is ourselves, right? So
yeah,
we
absolutely.
we can be self-limiting, and I know what that's like. So I'm sure a lot of us listening do. But what's really cool about you is, you're building something radically different and radically needed in the market. And I think that's what gets everybody excited, because everything that's been the way it is needs to change for the
Oh
better.
my gosh, it's such a
So,
broken system.
yes, and that's why you're here. You're here to elicit that change. So, congrats on your success so far. We're going to be watching you every step of the way and cheering you on. Where can everybody find you today? How can they follow you? How can they support Beauty Genome? Where would that be?
So we have TikTok, Instagram. I'm trying to get on X, but it's not my favorite platform.
Good.
I'm super active on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And
Cool.
I will probably I have concepts of a plan of a podcast.
Cool.
So
Good.
that will live probably wherever podcasts live and YouTube for video. So
Amazing. We had on Sasha Peterse, who is a well-known actress, celebrity, entrepreneur, and she runs a female women's only podcast. I should hook you guys up. You should
that
talk.
would be incredible.
She's here on
Yes.
Becoming Radical. She has another really cool brand that she's building called Hippie Water. I'm sure you'd love it.
Oh
Um,
my gosh, that sounds like it's my type of thing.
Very cool stuff. It's kind of hemp derived adult beverage, if you will, sold its
Oh,
own
cool.
line.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Oh,
You should
that's a
check it out.
huge
Really cool
market
stuff.
too.
We need to get you guys talking, because I think there's a lot of synergies there. So I'll get you the
Very
details. But
cool.
this
That
has
would be
been
amazing.
yeah, this has been amazing. You are definitely becoming radical. You're changing and challenging the game. We appreciate you being here. And hopefully we can have you back in the future, as you have a lot more to share.
Yes, absolutely. I would love it. Thank you so
Amazing.
much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Becoming Radical. If today's episode sparked something in you, follow wherever you listen, join the conversation, and share it with someone ready to think beyond limits. Be unlimited, be bold, and become radical. See you next time.